Good morning. It is a Monday morning. It is going to be a beautiful week ahead. Allergy season is upon us. I took my first, I think it's what is it? Allegra. Allegra. I can't remember what the name of the allergy pill is, but I took my first one this morning. Grasses and tree pollens for me, but it's been pretty noticeable and it makes sense. We're into spring here now. Got a lot to talk about today. California weather. We'll look at the forecast, certainly. We're going to look at Yreka, not Eureka, but Yreka. We got a live camera up there, which you've seen before. We're going to talk a little bit about the origins of that place because it's, as in all California, fascinating origins. There's some rain chances down the road. We'll look at that in the latest computer model, look at the GFS, and then we'll look at the vorticity. Upper level, and you can kind of match the rain chances to the energy chances. We got a new camera, which is kind of awesome. Not new. It's not. And this isn't a new camera, but a new alert camera because I literally pour over these things every morning, just because it's the way to do business. Great way to wake up. And then we'll look at the eagles as well, plus other things. Okay, we'll get started here. This is from Yreka or Yreka area. Mount Shasta from the north and the east, sun coming up, no fog in the valley. Temperature today up around Mount Shasta City is going to be 72 degrees, pretty warm. Redding today is going to make 84 degrees. Chico 83, pretty typical for this time of year. Paradise 77 degrees up on the ridge. We'll visit that place today. Yreka, not Yreka, but Yreka. 61 degrees along the coast where there's some fog and a bit of a marine layer. San Francisco 63, that's what I would expect for today. Sacramento 83, about where they should be. Fresno 85 degrees for this Monday. Los Angeles 71 and Palm Springs 90 degrees. Okay, as you look at Mount Shasta, we know it's not the tallest mountain in California. Whitney is. As a matter of fact, it's not even the second tallest mountain in California. It is way down the road. There's a bunch of taller ones down around Mount Whitney. Yreka got its name during the gold rush in 1851. Bunch of Indian tribes up there, the Modocs, the Kuroks, and the Shasta Indians, which would make sense. And they were known for their basket weaving, for their all those three of those tribes. And they basically got their subsistence from the Klamath River, and which is exciting because the Klamath River, as you know, they've pulled that last dam out. I think it's Iron Springs, which I've never seen, without the dam in it, because it's just a big reservoir. If you ever want to see a really great documentary about removing dams, Yvon Chouinard from Patagonia put a movie out, it must be 5-7 years ago, called Dam, like DAMN Nation, Dam Nation. It is so good, and it explains how important rivers flowing freely are to the ecosystem and to us. It's weird. You talk about woo-woo, but it's all science. It's really awesome. So anyway, pulling that dam out of the Klamath River up in this area, you're reintroducing already salmon back into the, all the way. They're going to make it all the way up. I believe we'll be able to make it all the way up to Klamath Falls, Oregon. Salmon from the ocean, steelhead as well. So as an angler, which I never understood that term, I'm a fisherman, angler. We should look that up. Where does that come from? I know it's probably right in front of me, but I can't think of it. I'm gonna look up angler lady. Why we just don't say fisherman? We say angler. Okay, so what else we got? Shasta. Oh, Yreka. This part I don't get how Yreka. Yreka. I don't get how it got its name Yreka because they say it's from the Indian word saying to lift. And so the settlers, the first gold rush people back in 1851 came in and said, oh, Yreka, to lift. Oh, we can, because they found a lot of placer gold there that they were able to just pick up off the ground, so to lift off the ground. So they kind of, historically, they go, that's how it got its name, but I'm pretty sure the Indians called it something else, right? I don't think I know. That's one of those struggles with California history is getting it straight, right? Because it's been rewritten, and it was never written, unfortunately, from the aspect of the Indians. Paradise today goes 77. We're going to go to Goose Lake. That's 73 degrees, which is right on the Oregon border of California. Okay, so let's start some weather stuff. We'll go into here. And I got to go, I got cut off yesterday or 2 days ago because my DSL camera only goes 30 minutes. There's a whole story behind that too, why it does that. This is, first of all, makes me want to go Capital One shopping. I'm just joking. Those pop-ups drive me nuts. But this is the satellite image. Let's do this. Let's do the jet stream. Okay, there it is. There it is. There's the jet stream. Let's see, where's the trough? There, I guess the trough's here. Something like that. So that's the jet stream. That's the global perspective, if you will, or the hemispheric perspective. This is Mount Tamalpais looking towards Pedro Point, essentially, or Montera Mountain down here. The marine layer, just eyeballing it, TAM's 23. Let's say the marine layer is 1,600 feet, 1,700 feet today. Isn't that beautiful? That is springtime in the Bay Area. That's why San Francisco is going to be 62 degrees today. That's why Concord today is going to go 84 degrees, and that's because it's not deep enough to really get into too many spots inland, or not pronounced enough. How deep is the marine layer? Well, let's do that. Let's go to the profiler. This is an acoustic profiler. It's out of Fort Ord, so it's further south, but this is a very useful tool. This line here, for all intents and purposes, represents the inversion. This is, ooh, look at us guessing right, about 1,800 feet, the inversion. There's 1,000 feet. I don't know if you can see that on the other side, the way the map lays out, but the time on this map runs from this side, from right to left. And so you can see the inversion has stayed about the same. And you know what's going to stay about the same today? Temperatures, same highs that we had yesterday. It has a lot to do with the depth of this inversion. So what will happen is, let's see what's coming up this week. This week, God, I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of changes. The inversion is going to pinch down a little more. We're going to warm up, but it's a subtle week ahead. Acoustic profiler, it is on my links page. And I think if you get used to that one, you put the acoustic profiler in conjunction with the visible satellite map, what we have here. You got yourself, you're formidable. You're going to be a formidable forecasting force because you can tell which beaches are going to be clear. You can do temperature forecasts based on the profiler, especially by time of year, right? Because we know if Concord doesn't get fog today based on the sun angle, blah, 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 and the winds are, Concord's going to be in the low 80s, right? When that marine layer gets real pinched down, or is non-existent this time of year, Concord's going to go mid 80s. When you're in July and that happens, Concord's going to go 100, right? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's the summer months. Summer months in some ways are more fun to forecast than winter months because it's subtle, and you're going to learn the subtleties of forecasting in the summer, which are actually beautiful. I know I always thought people, what do you do in the summer? It doesn't do anything. It's like the subtleties of the marine layer. Stunning. And if you live in our zone, which we, in the Bay Area especially, but in Santa Barbara, Southern California, Yreka, not Yreka, but Yreka, when you live in these zones, the subtleties are beautiful. And that's, the birds react to it, the bugs it's awesome. Okay, so there's the fog along the coast, not very far inland, so the marine layer fairly shallow. You see it squishes through the Golden Gate Bridge, right? And kind of pushes into the Sausalito and down into, down towards south of Market. But it's going to be gone pretty quickly. And then my friends, you guys south of Santa Barbara, you woke up this morning with a little patchy fog, but overall pretty nice, really nice day. What did we say LA today? 71 degrees, Santa Barbara, 64 degrees for a daytime high. All righty. Yeah, we're clipping along here. So it's going to be a spring day. This map is just awesome. This is the vorticity map. I'll put a loop around us because I want you to see us. And then I just want to let's look at number one. We're looking for, this is upper level winds in vorticity. Winds are flowing parallel to these, see those black lines? At the surface, it doesn't happen that way because of friction. But aloft, the winds flow kind of perpendicular or parallel to these black height lines. Okay, so that all you need to know is that's the jet stream. So jet stream's going like this, right? Something like that. And there's a little split. You see little splits down here into the jet, little offshoots. But where the lines are closer together, that's where the jet stream is. That's where the greatest temperature and pressure disparities are. What are we going to see? Okay, let's pull back here. We're looking for us. We got nice, little cooler on Wednesday. no big deal. Deeper marine layer on Wednesday. So it looks like a marine layer pinches down tomorrow, comes a little deeper on Wednesday. Subtle variations. This looks big. That looks interesting, huh? That's on Friday and then Saturday. So this period in here, Friday into Saturday, next week, I know, looks like something might happen, right? I just make a note of it. And look at that ridge build in. See that ridge building in? So that's a big warm up. That's on April 28th. And that's in preparation for this, which is another little tweak, April 30th, right? And another big ridge. Look at that, the amplitude on that ridge. Can you see that? I think you can see it, right? And look at that amplitude. And I'm just getting all over the place. But when this ridge amplifies, this trough amplifies too. And then the jet stream kind of digs. And when this trough, and let's continue to watch that trough. I just want you to keep an eye on that trough. As the ridge amplifies, the trough amplifies as well, right? And then you see that looks like really something May 3rd. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Anything else? Kind of, huh? May 3rd looks like there's something going on. Is that how it's going to go down? No, probably not exactly, but just at some level. Okay, surface now. And what we can do with this, this is on my page too. Just grab this bad boy, grab the bar down here, and just roll until you see blue and go, April 26th. Oh, we just talked about that, didn't we? So there's a chance of rain. And then let's roll some more. April 26th, and then May 3rd, 2nd and 3rd, right? So those periods look unsettled. All of this in between, subtle temperature variations, subtle wind variations. So here's this week. Right? And you're going, what are you looking at, Bill? Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at trends. I don't really see much going on. There's a little something there. That's interesting. That's around Mount Shasta, Redding. Looks like some sort of tropical moisture maybe from, I don't know where that came from actually. Maybe something from the north. But either way, right? Nothing of much consequence on the radar right now. Okay, these are the temperature forecasts for today, Monday, 83 degrees in Chico, 83 in Sacramento, 75 up in Grass Valley, 84 in Fresno, 85 in Bakersfield. So you can see the forecast highs. That's for today. These are the numbers tomorrow. Oh, not much changes. So we know that. Now, if I were to go out one more day, I think the temperatures are going to drop because that Wednesday period, this is Tuesday, that Wednesday period looks like we're going to see a little more marine layer and a little more of a push as that weak weather system goes to the north. So again, you can get as granular with this as you want. The best way to do this, especially when you're kind of long-range forecasting, because we know what the next couple of days are going to be like, is you kind of just have to go broad brush, just kind of broad brush. This is the national map. Draw the jet stream in. I used to like, that was my favorite part about my first meteorology class over at Berkeley. Granger would make us take the isotherm map, which this is, temperatures represented by equal temperatures represented by color, isotherm. And I think I can do it. Let's see how this goes. It looks like a little trophy here. It looks like the jet stream comes in here, drops here, right? And then you see that ridge there, and then you see a slight ridge there. So something like that. And as we go further into the summer months, that jet stream is going to get further and further north. It'll undulate, but it'll be further north because the days get longer. And that, my friend, is how weather works. Days get longer, jet stream recedes north. Days get shorter, jet stream recedes or goes to the south. When the jet stream's south in our latitude or close to our latitude, it's time for rain, right? Okay, so here is the watches and warnings for today. This is red flag warnings. A little bit of, interesting up here, a little bit of frost advisory stuff going on in Northern California as well. That is for today. And then still flooding on the Mississippi River, right? How many days has it been now? I mean, I remember I said a couple weeks ago, hey, it's going to be flooding for at least a week and a half, because it was hard to fathom a couple of weeks. But that river drainage, they had all that rain, and this river-based drainage, all this drainage. I mean, that's a lot of water that has to trickle into that one river and go out the mouth down by New Orleans. Okay, I'm moving right along. I'm trying to move along because I got clipped yesterday, and there's nothing worse than getting clipped. Okay, so now we've done weather. We know what's going to happen. We know it's going to be Really nice day today, really nice day tomorrow. Simple. Probably spot on average temperatures for this time of year. Eastern seaboard, there you go. You got some activity there, right? You look like you got a little bit of rain from Rhode Island all the way back into New Orleans. You've got some weather up in the Montana, Dakotas area. None of it looks high grade. Everything looks pretty manageable. So that is the forecast for tomorrow for your travel. So traveling looks okay. Back up in Paradise now. Paradise today is going to go 77 degrees. I grew up, this is the ridge. This is the Feather River Canyon, which the west branch of the Feather River Canyon, which I spent basically my whole childhood dodging rattlesnakes. And then, because I live right here, right down there. We were just right below the snow level. It was funny. Paradise was funny because we'd get snow days, and sometimes they'd call school off because the high school was more up here, kind of up in here. But it's just up the hill enough, another 400 feet, that it would snow. The rain. We were right at the. I think my house was probably at 1,900 feet. High school was probably at 2,000 feet. And that was enough many times, especially because the kids up in Magalia, I think I can go this way. The kids up in Magalia, way up the ridge, because it's a slope, would get, they'd be up another 1,000 feet. So they'd get a foot of snow. So it was awesome, because if they got too much snow in Magalia, they'd have to cancel school for the day. And so it'd be raining at my house, but we'd still cancel school because it'd be snow in Magalia. Simpler time. And the thing you can't see here, and I can't figure out why I can't see it, these are the Sutter Buttes. I think you can just make those out, right? I know that you think those are the coastal range, but those are the Sutter Buttes, not the smallest mountain range in the world. This is Chico kind of down in here. And the Butte Creek Canyon is here. So we got, on this side of town, we had Butte Creek. On this side of town, we had the Feather River. And down here, you can just barely see it on my picture, is Lake Orville, so we had a lot of water. And I remember when they filled that lake. I remember when they dammed it up. I'm that old, Lake Orville. And I think I've told this story. All the stuff, not all the stuff, but a lot of the stuff, let me check my watch. A lot of the stuff from Lake Orville, snakes and stuff, bear, mountain lions started coming up. Because it was a slow fill. And as the lake filled, every month, every year, there'd be more rattlesnakes. We had a lot of people getting bit by rattlesnakes back in I guess in the late 60s, because they were just kind of right. They'd come up they had to go somewhere. And same with, we had some bears, we had some mountain lions. So it was really an interesting time. No one really talks about that. When you fill a reservoir, seeing all the stuff come out, it takes a while. It's not like, overnight. It takes like months. And it just trickles out because it's a slow fill. Okay, this is Goose Lake. Never been there. Gonna go there though. That's my next move. 73 degrees today. Goose Lake borders Oregon and California. Beautiful. And there's a great state park there. I think I wrote something down about Goose Lake. I guess I didn't write anything down. Modoc Indians loved it out there. And it did play a part in the Modoc Indian Wars, which we will talk about at some other point. Here's a lake I didn't even know existed. This is Isabella Lake, 80 degrees Isabella. It's basically kind of east of Bakersfield. And there's people hanging out there. Really pretty, right? I know. That's one I didn't know. So if you've ever been to Lake Isabella, drop me a note and tell me cool things about it. Because it does look cool. It really does. It really does. And that climate's kind of intriguing because you're at elevation, yet you're still kind of warm, right? Because this time, you could almost swim in, I'm just making that up, but it seems like that far south, that elevation, you might almost be swimming in that lake by now. This is Santa Monica Pier. Yes, it is. This is down by Malibu, live picture. The LA's back over here. They've got a fairly deep into marine layer, and it's pushing pretty far inland. So they are going to be, LA 71 today, San Diego 67. My friend Billy Hudson is up in his office. This is basically his view, kind of his view from his office. And he's my source for Palisades. Good friend. Been a friend for thousands of years now. But it's interesting how hustly bustly that place can be because it's a Monday. They're still open. I think some of the ski resorts are getting ready to close next weekend. For whatever that's worth, I'm going to hang on this camera a little bit because I want to see it move and where it goes. What else could I tell you? Gold Rush on 10,000 views. Oh yeah. So Yreka, my notes are. I can't. I could show them to you. They're horrible notes. Yreka had during the Gold Rush period, they had like 10,000 people. I mean, I don't know if Yreka has 10,000 people now. That's the thing about the Gold Rush that you don't really hear about, and that is how many people were up in the Feather River, how many people were kind of roaming around the hills of California back then. It was a lot. There were thousands of people. Like in some cases, I think there were more people, like in that Feather River Canyon shot I showed you from Paradise. I think there were people crawling all over it because they're turning over every rock. Feather River, I think we claim in Paradise that it was they found the largest gold nugget in, I think it was the largest gold nugget ever. I know, which is like kind of like the smallest mountain range ever. I'm going to check that. Paradise Magalia Nugget. I'll get calls on that one too. But we have gold nugget days in Paradise, right? Because the biggest gold nugget. I'm like, yeah. I don't know how that went. You know, how do you get? I think there was a lot we were calling things the biggest a lot back then. Okay. Sorry, I keep checking my watch. Okay, this is Ocean Beach, which actually looks fun today. Not that big. This is Halama. Kind of looks fun today too. And they've got, what a beautiful day to wake up there. Folks surfing in the fish or surf fishing. I'm moving because I think my alarm's going to go off and I'm going to get cut off. This is Refugio. I got a great story about Refugio. It's a little right-hand point down in Santa Barbara, but I think what we'll look at more importantly is the marine layer. See it? Pretty not deep, but not shallow. You're on the inside of Point Conception, just underneath the tip of Point Conception. And that's why the winds have a tendency to want to blow the fog. You're facing kind of, right there, you're facing south kind of. And so this northwest wind is taking the fog and scouring it away. It was foggy this morning, but the south facing beaches have a tendency to get that fog out of there pretty quickly. And then this is Trussell's. This is where we're going to be having the Olympics this year. And surfing is in the Olympics, which you could ask me how I feel about that. I don't think surfing should be in the Olympics. I know, right? Where'd that come from, Bill? Well, it's just not, it's like, I don't know, it's even like dancing. I know it's kind of in the Olympics, but it's like surfing is an expression. It's like, it'd be like putting scuba diving in the Olympics. Bad analogy, but it's just, it's an expression. It's like saying you're the best dancer, right? I don't know. It's not, the ocean, nature serves up swell, serves up waves. You get on it, you do what you can, you get off, you paddle back out. But I think it's weird to judge surfing. It's like, I always thought it was weird to judge dancing too, although dancing's less weird to judge. The Eagles, okay. Oh my goodness, that's Dad. See how I can tell right away? And the birds get as big as Dad and Mom. Maybe even, they're almost as big as Dad now. Look at that. All right. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's him. Yeah. I love Dad because he's so just like, see how he sort of seems uncomfortable? I know this is conjecture, but he's just very aware that this is not necessarily, like Jackie's the one, Mom's the one who runs everything, kind of like in my house. And he sort of gets it. He goes, oh man, I don't want to screw this up. I want to be, I got to do this right. He does cool stuff. Then he's super gentle with the babies. But look at them, they're, I think they're over 140 feet up in a tree. And the nest is essentially 6 feet. Picture 6 feet by 6 feet. It's big. Okay, I better go because I think this camera's going to cut out. I'm going to watch them some more, though, after I go. All right. We learned about Yreka today. Modoc, Kurok, and the Shasta Indians. I don't think it means to pick up. I know that's what the legend says, but I think that Yreka and Modoc and Shasta Indians had a different name for it. You tell me. Rain chances, we saw those. New camera, we saw a couple of those, and we saw the Eagles. All right, that was awesome. I'll see you back here tomorrow.